Good morning, Big Square, road with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Oh, I'm pretty much out of Wi-Fi range these days. Takes forever to download anything. Greg Hunter had a great interview with Charles Niener, and I couldn't download it, but luckily Zero Hedge had a post about it, and it's about our friends over at Deutsche Bank. How long on the road to Ruta have we been saying Deutsche Bank is the linchpin of the derivative meltdown? That was what was set up in the late 90s. Alan Greenspan completely removed all regulation around derivatives to give the banks enough rope to hang themselves. It was all by design. Deutsche Bank is the key. The more bad news you hear about Deutsche Bank, the closer we are to the destruction of the old system. Anyway, let's see what Charles has to say, because I absolutely agree with him. If Deutsche Bank breaks $6.40, the world is in trouble. Not Deutsche Bank's in trouble. Not the European banking system's in trouble. Not Europe's in trouble. The entire world is in trouble. And this is from Greg Hunter's USAWatchdog.com, which I couldn't download because of the Wi-Fi. So go to Greg Hunter's site. And Greg's a good guy, by the way. You should always watch his stuff. Renowned geopolitical and financial cycle expert Charles Niener says, if there was ever a global canary in the coal mine warning for the financial system, it is Deutsche Bank. Late last year, Niener predicted if Deutsche Bank stock went below $8 a share, you should be worried. Recently, Deutsche Bank stock hit a full all-time lows and now sits around $7.40 per share level. And there's the share price of Deutsche Bank from $100 in 2006 down to $7. Again, this is all set up. All set up. Deutsche Bank took on all the bankers' trust derivatives way back when. They're sitting with like 45 trillion, enough to destroy every single financial instrument out there that is debt-based. Meaning you have to rely on somebody else because they're counterparty to 45 trillion. Yes, some of them offset, but not enough of them. Can any bank take a $2-3 trillion hit? No. The banks are weak anyway. It is going to be insane when Deutsche Bank goes down. I'm on the path of September 11th, 2019 will be the decision day, the D-Day for our financial system. Now, last time that happened, September 11th, 2008. And what did we do? We bailed out the banks because we couldn't handle the truth. Well, we didn't know as much as we know now back then. But they call them too big to fail because there's a very good reason. If they do fail, the old system is gone. Literally gone. No bank account, no checking account, no retirement fund. Everything goes. The good thing is the debt goes away too. It'll be messy. It'll be really messy. If and when this happens. Even a hiccup in the economic system right now in Europe or in the United States is going to tip over the apple cart for a huge stock market destruction. Then again, they can rig the markets with a computer. So can we have a situation where Deutsche Bank implodes, every bank loses every asset they have, and stock market is just fine? I don't think so. We'll find out, though. That's the good thing. Nader warns, I can see it holding up into late July, and then it can go to $6.50 per share. If it breaks below $6.40, it can go out of business. So it's a very serious situation. I think all the markets can have a bounce in a couple of days to the end of July. That's why Deutsche Bank may hold up. But if it gets below $6.40, the world is in trouble. This is not hyped prediction, considering the IMF called Deutsche Bank the most systemically dangerous bank in the world in 2016. If Deutsche Bank does break $6.40, do we get a daisy chain of default around the world? Niener says. It's a very dangerous situation. I don't think Deutsche Bank is the only one. They just got caught. I think if you look at the balance sheets very closely of other banks, especially Europe and Italian banks, you will see a lot of troubling signs also. I don't think it's only Deutsche Bank, it's much more. If it breaks $6.40, the downside price target is 0. If everybody watches my analysis and it goes to below $6.40, everybody's going to run for the exits. How long on the road have we been saying Deutsche Bank? If you look at the economic system, Deutsche Bank is the key. Why? Because they are the largest bank derivative holder. They're not the largest derivative holder. I think the largest derivative holder is probably the U.S. government, because they use derivatives through the Exchange Stabilization Fund to rig the markets. But then again, what does the U.S. government want? What does the U.S. Federal Reserve want? What does the U.S. Treasury want? We want to destroy the system. Why? Because we're the largest debtor in the nation. If the system is destroyed, the USA wins. We got all the stuff that we bought over the last 100 years with all that paper money. Yes, it'll be chaos. Yes, we'll have to bring all our troops home and stick them on our borders. Oh, darn. It's a solution to a problem that we've been trying to end for so long. It gets rid of the evil banking cabal. It gets rid of the deep state. It gets rid of all these bad things, and they can all be dragged out of their little hidey holes, kicking and screaming. Is it chaos? Absolutely. Is that chaos required to move forward? Absolutely. Either that or we're screwed. We turn into the socialist country of Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders and the whole Democratic Party. And it's not just Democrats that are part of this evil plot. It's Republicans too. I would say I've predicted it's 70% of Congress is on the take, as in they get envelopes weekly and monthly with cash in them to do the evil plans. There was some congressman, the head of the ethics department, whose wife, he was in debt, massively in debt, and all of a sudden his wife gets all these donations, and he's going down now. A Democrat, I forgot his name. It was in yesterday's news. But back to Deutsche Bank. If Deutsche Bank goes under with its massive book of derivatives, other banks would be in the same trouble as Deutsche Bank, Nader says. Yes. If they have to close their derivatives, who knows which bank is going to lose how much? It's going to be a big problem. No, it's not a problem. It's the end. The problem is they try to balance out the derivative book. So Deutsche Bank is a big holder of the derivatives. They write the derivative contracts, so they get upfront fees. And basically it's like a financial insurance down the line. And to cover themselves, they buy derivatives from JP Morgan. And for JP Morgan, they do the same thing. And they buy derivatives to cover their other derivatives from, Joe Schmo Bank in Singapore. When you go farther down the daisy chain in a liquid market, you get some really shaky stuff. But when the kingpin, if a small bank goes down, look at AIG. They weren't the biggest player in derivatives. I think they were bailed out for $300 billion, and they weren't even a bank. Imagine one of these big banks going down. Is anybody going to approve a $300 or $3 trillion bailout of a non-U.S. government type bank? The EU wouldn't even do it. Nobody would. But that's the key. And that's why everybody's even the regulators are going after Deutsche Bank. They know that you take down Deutsche Bank, you get rid of the banking system. It will be chaotic. The cryptos are coming into their own at just the right time. Keep an eye, I'm going to say this all year, keep an eye on Litecoin. Litecoin. It will be that means of exchange. Even Bitcoin people have to agree. They don't want Bitcoin being used as a means of exchange. So what's the next best thing? Litecoin. That's why the Bitcoin core devs love Litecoin. Besides being the test nut, that was the idiots. When Litecoin was as low. So it's just a Bitcoin testnet. Fine. It's also the best form as a means of exchange. When you integrate Lightning Network and you integrate atomic swaps, Bitcoin and Litecoin are seamless. And that was the plan all along, people. Why do you think the UN went to the Litecoin Foundation Summit? I'm just saying, you better have a nice chunk of Litecoin in your crypto portfolio. If Deutsche Bank, on interest rates, Niner says, at the end of the summer, or let's say at the end of July, we're going to have a long-term rise in interest rates for a couple of years. I'm not so sure. I think, you can't say those in the same sentence. He's saying, Deutsche Bank's going to fail at the end of, sometime after the end of summer, and interest rates are going to go up. There will be no interest rates if Deutsche Bank fails. There'll be no Federal Reserve Bank. There'll be no central banks. I mean, the failure of Deutsche Bank is the failure of the derivative market. That daisy chain will destroy all electronic money, debt-based electronic money. If it's asset-based, like cryptocurrencies, some of them, most of them, those will be fine. And here is the latest news from these floundering idiots over at Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank finds flaw in software used to assess money transfers. So they're under investigation because them and JP Morgan are the biggest money launderers in the world. The Fed, all central banks around the world, the SWIFT system, all knew that, and they participated in it. They cannot transfer money in those quantities without the Fed knowing it, without the European Central Bank knowing it, without the SWIFT system knowing it. So they were all in cahoots with Deutsche Bank. Now Deutsche Bank's the fall guy, so they're all going to Deutsche Bank saying, they're looking, obviously investigating their past. And Deutsche Bank has this software that was used to investigate its own past. And so, no, it had a flaw in it. That's why we missed all this stuff. Billions and trillions of dollars. Deutsche Bank AG said it discovered an error in software used to analyze payments as the bank seeks to step up controls after being tied to a series of money laundering scandals. The tool was used to examine transactions retroactively, and the lender is working to resolve the error. Now, if you work at a bank, you know there are certain monetary thresholds that have to be signed off by upper management. The higher you go, the more upper management, senior management, the board has to sign off on it. It's not just software. Employees at the bank's anti-financial crimes unit discovered that 2 parameters out of 121 weren't correctly defined in one of its applications, it said, confirming a report in some German magazine. The error adds to a long to-do list of regulatory and legal issues the bank is seeking to remedy. It's under scrutiny from various authorities for its role in a massive money laundering scandal centered at Danske Bank. Slow progress in improving controls and compliance with regulation has been a source of irritation for regulators. Deutsche Bank's anti-financial crime unit is part of the business overseen by management and board member Sylvie Matrat, who faced questions about her future at the bank. The bank last year replaced Chief Operating Officer Kim Hammonds with Frank Knudku to boost the speed of improving controls. My friends, Deutsche Bank cannot transfer billions of dollars without the approval of the ECB, the Fed, the US Fed, and the SWIFT system. It cannot be done. This is all a lie. It's all a con. They knew about it. They condoned it. They were part of it. So I don't even know what this hoopla is all about. If you're going to arrest the criminals, you got to go all the way up the chain. That's my take, at least. So yeah, Deutsche Bank being set up for failure by the end of July, according to Charles Niener, which it takes about a month for derivatives to hit the pay up time. You're getting right into September 11th timeframe. September 11th, 2019. That's my prediction. Oh, by the way, Bitcoin Ben's prediction looks like it's not going to happen. His guy. I have warned everybody, you can't have a guy predicting numbers. You can't have a guy predicting numbers. Why? Because the market's rigged. It's 100% rigged. As soon as someone figures out the perfect way to predict numbers in cryptocurrencies, they're going to do something to throw off your little thing. They threw Cliff High off a cliff. Cliff High off a cliff. With his system, the system is rigged. The numbers you see on CoinMarketCap are all fake. You want to fix it, you take out the exchanges and require one-to-one purchases of cryptocurrencies. One-to-one, meaning I got cash, you got a Bitcoin on the blockchain, we make the deal. Get the high-frequency traders out of there. Get all the criminals out of there. And there's a lot of them. So chaos coming in every which way. Ben, I love you, but I agree with the way your guy was looking at it. But at the end of the day, you can't beat the manipulators, especially if the manipulators are the Fed. and the U.S. Treasury, which is most likely is right now, at least to a degree. So, do I think Bitcoin will hit 10,000? Of course it will. When? I can see it doing it in the next couple weeks. No, that's not a prediction because they can rig it to $0 or $1 million a coin with a click of a mouse. A click of a mouse. They can rig it to $0 or $1 million Bitcoin and Litecoin and any coin they want. And Bitcoin SV. I'm thinking that guy Craig Wright is part of the deep state because the crypto deep state needs a lot of money right now to cover their criminality. And this latest pump and dump hoax was ridiculous. Craig Wright. Let's all fill out a copyright form and bumps it. At its peak, it was up like $1.4 billion because Craig Wright filled out a copyright form. I think I have close to a dozen copyright forms filed for music stuff and books I wrote. They don't read them. They don't care. You just register it. I was reading that somebody said Craig Wright can now sue Roger Weir because Roger used Craig Wright's copywritten code to write the Bitcoin cash code. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. It's crazy, actually. Hang in there, my friends. Big Swear, roadrooter.com. Go to roadrooter.com and sign up for the private road. And you're going to get a lot more information this weekend. I'll talk to you later.